Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are on the globe. Today's discussion is on the introduction of guidance and counseling. I want us to look at it very well so that we can distinguish between these two terms, so that we can differentiate between these two terms, most especially for the students that are in the universities and colleges. There is need for us to understand this. First and foremost, I would like to take a look at these terms. That is guidance. Some people are calling it guidance. Well, some are calling it guardian. Some are calling it counseling, and I call it guidance and counseling. So if you take a look at the spelling, the spelling reads Guidanca. That is guidance, and as well counseling with double or with LL. If you take a look at it, it's counseling. Counselling. And now ask, what is counseling? What is guidance? Or what is guidance and counseling? These are two distinct words that connote different meanings, although they are clearly or closely related and often used together in various contexts, especially in educational and psychological services. So there is need for us to understand this, that the term guidance and counseling are two distinct words that people makes use of them interchangeably, despite the fact that each and every one of the words has a different meaning. So I now take us through. Let us take a look at the term guidance. The term guidance primarily is informational and is directed. If you take a look at the term guidance, it's all about information, it's all about directing someone to do something or to choose something or to achieve something. And not only this, it focuses on providing advice, it focuses on providing direction and solution to specific problems. This is what guidance is all about. It's focusing on providing solutions to your personal problem, to the problem of family and other problems like that. Typically, this term, it relates to education, it relates to career, and it relates to lifelong decision making. So guidance is all about education, it's all about career, it's all about lifelong decision making. And not only this, it aims at helping individuals make informed decisions by providing knowledge or options or recommendations. So guidance is all about helping individuals to make informed decisions, and by providing knowledge or options or recommendations for that person to understand his himself. All right. When we take a look at the term literal meaning, the term the guidance or guidance literally was derived from its roots, that is guide, which means to direct or to know, to pilot, to manage, to watch over, to steer, to aid, to inform, to interact, and to lead. Anybody, anytime, anywhere can give guidance. So guidance is all about piloting affairs, it's all about directing an individual, it's all about leading an individual, it's all about managing individual's problem, it's all about watching over his problem, it's all about uh, steering his problem or aiding him to achieve the greater height. It's all about informing him to know A or B. It's all about interacting with that person also. Let us take a look at the term counseling now. Counseling is more in-depth, it's more deeper than guidance because it is therapeutic in nature. We treat psychological problems, we treat social problems, we treat physical problems. Most especially somebody that is disturbed, we can help him so that he can strengthen his psychology also. And counseling focuses more on helping individuals explore their emotions, that is good emotions and bad emotions, that is positive emotion and bad emotion, happiness, love, joy. These are typical examples of positive emotion, and as well negative emotion, that is envy, that is jealousy, that is sadness, that is, and so these are the negative. So counseling focuses on helping someone to process his emotion, on helping someone to process his thoughts, and to even help him to achieve based on what he has planned. Counseling is sort of behaviors. It changes or it helps somebody to cure or to treat his behavioral problems. It helps somebody, that is an individual, to resolve his personal issues and also to resolve interpersonal personal issues. So counseling is all about this. And not only this, it aims at helping individuals understand themselves, better cope with challenges, and facilitate personal growth. So counseling literally was derived from the Latin words called consilium, that is to apply for counseling or to consult. The next thing is to considerate, that is, it was derived from the term considerate. Considerate means, quantitatively means to consult, to suggest, and to recommend ways of solving a particular problem to a client or so. So if you take a look at the literal meaning of the term counseling, it's all about directing or applying for advice or suggesting problem solutions to a problem, and so. The next thing we can see, counseling can be seen as a process in which a trained person assists another person's in confidential discussion, heart-to-heart discussion, face-to-face discussion, an encounter that has to do with confidentiality, so that the client will solve his problem amicably also. Uh, Counselor is expected to keep confidential issues. You are not supposed to disclose the secret of your client. If your client has entrusted his position or his mind to you, you don't need to disclose his identity to people. You don't need to disclose that to people. I can see that example of this. Our younger brothers, sisters are leaving their immediate environment to a different place for them to uh, be treated. People from Jalingo are going to Abuja for treatment. People from Abuja are coming to Ibadan, are coming to Benue for treatment. People from Adamawa are going to Gombe for treatment because of the issue of confidentiality. So there is need for us to make a kind of shift, adjust ourselves to at least keep the confidential issues of a client secret is secret. We should not disclose their identity to people because it's injurious. So when we take a look at the next definition of counseling, counseling is a professional relationship that empowers diverse individuals, families, or groups to achieve their mental health, uh, their wellness, their educational goals, their career goals. So if you want to achieve your mental health goals, you want to achieve your wellness goals, you want to achieve your educational goals, you want to achieve your career goals, you are expected to go to a counselor that will support you or how you're expected to do this. So if you take a look at this definition, it's a professional relationship, as we've said, that empowers someone. It takes someone years of study for him to be called a professional, and the relationship between the client and the counselor is a professional one. No more knowledge. There is need for the counselor or counselee to understand the relationship is no more knowledge, is professional relationship. Just you are there to empower that person to think well, to empower him to boost his health, to empower him to boost his mental health. You are there to empower him to choose a very good career for himself. That is counseling for you. And not only this, counseling contains several implicit and explicit points that are important for counselors as well as consumers to realize. Counseling deals with wellness, personal growth, career, education, and empowerment concern. This is the focus of counseling. In other words, counselors work in areas that involves plethora of issues, including those that are personal and those that are interpersonal. These areas include concern related to findings, meanings, adjustment, and fulfillment in mental and physical health of an individual. That individual, your work is to support him to achieve his goals that he has set for himself. So a counselor is expected to understand this. You don't need to stress yourself by making a different relationship that is not professional. You are expected to focus on the personal issue of the client and the interpersonal issue of the client, so that you can help him adjust, so that you can help him fulfill his mental issues, support his mental issues, his physical health issues, and achievement of goals also. We can still see as is there, counselors are concerned with just social justice and advocate for the oppressed and powerless as part of the process. You are expected to advocate for the powerless people, and not only these people that are oppressed. A counselor is expected to voice out his standpoint for the authority to understand. Counseling is conducted with people individually, in group, in family. A counselor can do that. You can interact with your clients individually. You can interact with your clients in group, and as well, you can interact with them in a family issue. Clients seen by counselors live and work in a wide variety of settings. A counselor can work in a wide variety of settings by supporting his clients to achieve his wellness, to achieve his mental wellness or mental health goals, to achieve his educational goals and career goals. So if you take a look at these problems of a client that requires short time or long time intervention, a counselor is expected to enforce it. If a problem entails or requires short term interaction, just go with the short term interaction. If the problem goes with the long term interactions, you are expected to take it as a long term interaction, and so you focus on helping individual or multiple individuals to solve their problems, their mental health problems, and so. Uh, in counseling, in guidance and counseling, these two terms have two different processes. For the guidance, it involves short-time interaction process. The guidance provider, that is the teacher, the career advisor, helps by offering suggestions and solutions to a particular problem. That is what he is expected to do. So it involves assessment. You can assess your client by knowing his aptitude, and also by knowing his interest. You can assess him doing that, so that he can take a very good career or direction for himself. Well, counseling is a long-time process. It's a process-oriented interaction. It takes a longer period of time. It takes professionalism. It takes technicalities. It takes different methods before you now get it right. The counselor works collaboratively with the individual to uncover underlying issues and guide them through self-discovery and problem-solving issues. This is what you're expected to do. You're expected to take your clients through by uncovering what is not known to him, by telling him things that are not okay for him, so that he can achieve his self-awareness or self-discovery, so that he can solve his problem also. Counseling involves active listening. When we talk of listening, we are referring to the whole of your body, your presence, your hand, your leg, your face, your eyes, your posture should be present, meaning should be with the client you are talking to or you are talking with. These are some of the things that are expected to note. And not only this, we still have empathy. You can interact with your client by putting your legs, by putting your mind, by putting your body, by putting your hands, by putting your thinking in the client's feelings or shoe. What's he feeling right now? You should feel the same thing the way he's feeling. That is why we so much agree with unconditional positive regard as a professional counselor. Wherever you see a client, you should give him unconditional positive regard. There should be no any condition attached to that client, and there should be positive regard. You should treat everybody collectively. You should treat everybody the same. There should be no segregation. There should be no differences and bias also. So as a counselor, you are expected to do this by providing a safe space for your client, a safe haven for your client, a place where your client will go and solve his problems amicably. These are the things that a counselor is expected to do. All right, between guidance and counseling now, we have two different things. There are scopes of guidance and the scopes of a counselor. For a counselor is expected to understand that there are covers or there are specific areas that he is expected to cover as a guidance counselor. These areas are educational guidance. You are expected to cover this area. Choosing career for an individual, a student that is in the college, a student that is in the secondary school, you are expected to support him to choose a career. And not only this vocation, you are expected to support him to choose vocations for himself. And not only this, it focuses more on external factors like options, opportunities, and decision making. So guidance is more of helping someone to get the options, helping someone to get the opportunities, and helping someone uh, through decision making. When counseling, if you take the scope of the counseling or focus of the counseling, counseling is broader and deeper in scope. It deals with emotion, it deals with psychology or psychological problems, it deals with the interpersonal issues of our clients. Dealing with stress, dealing with trauma, dealing with relationship issues, these are the focus of counseling. And not only this, it focuses more on internal process or internal processes such as self-awareness, coping mechanisms, and mental well-being. So counseling is more of this. Internal processes such as self-awareness, understand yourself, your ability to do this, your capability to do this, your capacity to do this, your interest to do this, and the way you value it. You should understand all these things before you now go into a certain work also. There is coping mechanisms, the way you cope with situations, the way you cope with things that are not okay for you. There are things that we're expected to understand. And mental well-being, the state of wellness of someone. A counselor is expected to support that person to achieve this psychological well-being, social well-being, emotional well-being, and cognitive well-being. There we have different well-being like that. It's the work of a counselor to support his clients to achieve this. Where do the counselor or guidance counselor work? For the guidance, is commonly in academic environment. You help students to set their careers. You help students in the universities to pick what will support them. You encourage them, you guide them, you teach them what is all about their courses. Assuming it's a counseling or it's a chemistry that student is studying, you should tell him about chemistry. You should tell him about the requirement of studying chemistry. You should tell him about the prospect of studying uh, chemistry also. And not only this, we still have counseling. If you take a look at counseling, uh, counseling is found in diverse setting, meaning you can see counseling in different locations, different areas where people are being supported. Where a man exists, counseling exists there. Most especially in the hospitals, in the schools, private practices, most especially in community health centers, dealing with both personal and interpersonal challenges, most especially in the religious centers, most especially in the traditional centers and other places like that. A counselor can take his time to support a client by achieving these things. The last thing that I want us to understand is this. Between counseling and guidance, or guidance and counseling, there are distinctions. Number one, guidance is more of preventive, while counseling is more of curative. Guidance is not emotional. Guidance is not emotional, while counseling is emotional. Guidance is client-centered, is counselor-centered, while counseling is client-centered. And not only this, guidance is advice, while counseling is not advice. Guidance is to help someone to choose, while counseling is to help someone to change his behavior. So if you take a look at this concept entirely, guidance is more of centered, is more of showing someone information, directing someone on information, leading someone to choose or to go about information. That is guidance for you. Well, counseling is more of suggesting for someone, recommending for someone to do something. You don't choose something for him. You don't compel him to choose something. You are to suggest ways, alternatives for him to say. You have to recommend things for him to understand that this is what I want, this is what I want to pick. If he has picked that particular thing that he wanted doing, you should support him by encouraging him, by giving him emotional support, moral support, social support, and so. These are some of the things that a counselor is expected to understand. I think in the next slide, we are going to see, or we are going to talk about the history of counseling in Nigeria and in the world as expected. Thank you, and thank you again.